up, everybody? This is your boy Larry D, the original voice of the Barcade. And I want to take this time to invite you to something very, very special.
Yay! Here we go.
Yay! Hey, Sherontelle, how are you?
I am doing amazing. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm well. Am I pronouncing your name right, Sherontelle?
It's Sherontelle, but yeah, you said Sherontelle
Sherontelle.
correctly. Yeah, everyone at home calls me Sherontelle, so I was like, wow. Yes, it's
So what should I
Sherontelle.
call you?
You
Sherontelle. Okay,
you can call
Sherontelle.
me
I
Sherontelle.
got
That's
you.
fine.
Okay.
Thank you
How are
so
you?
much. I am doing amazing. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. In the holiday spirit?
Yes, I'm going to definitely talk about it because your song put me in that holiday spirit. I was like, oh my goodness, Christmas with you. Yes, yes, yes. Because I feel like
Very
I
good.
lost that
Very good.
spirit for a while. You know, after I lost my grandmother, I feel like the holidays have never been the same. So I have to have that music, you know, to inspire me for sure.
Well, that's that's the kind of song I really wanted to create. Something that was kind of nostalgic. Kind of a little bit of throwback, but just something that was wholesome and to get us in the old fashioned Christmas spirit and talk about the things that used to be
That
real
matter.
relevant.
Right, the
Well,
things
you're
that
right. That
matter.
matter. That matter. You're
Exactly.
absolutely right.
So
Good. Good.
a
Good.
couple months ago, when this first started, the pandemic started, all of my events
Mm-hmm.
started to cancel. So I
Okay.
started to, you know, at first I thought it was only going to be like 2 weeks. So I was like, okay, I could do
Wow.
this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after 2 weeks passed, it was another week. And then before I knew it, it was a month. And I looked at my email and all the events for the rest of this year was completely canceled. And one thing I remember from Magic Johnson, my favorite quote is always be ready to adapt and adjust. So I
Of
felt that
course.
this was a way of not only probably God saying to sit down, slow down a little bit and spend time with
Mm-hmm.
those that matter, but also to
Yeah.
adapt and adjust and create something new. So these conversations is a part of me creating something new. So that way we can bring along people and give them some, hopefully some inspiration of hope and faith over fear. I've heard you say that before in a couple of your
Absolutely.
interviews.
Absolutely.
Faith over fear, right? So
Faith
this is
over
that
fear,
thing,
always.
choosing your path. Like you have the ability to choose, you know, and to believe and to trust the process. So that's what these conversations are about. And thank you so much for being a part of it.
No, that's that. I'm delighted to be here, and that's a great mission statement. A lot of people think that the pandemic and all the challenging things that we're going through now, it sort of makes the glass seem half empty. And I always look, my son and I always say, the glass is half full.
The
We've
glass is
accomplished
half
so
full.
much during the time of this pandemic, and you just have to roll your sleeves up. Going get tough, tough get going. You know what I'm saying? But it's also been a time that I think families have reunited. It's forced us to be together. Friendships have been reunited. It's some good stuff that has come about in the midst
Absolutely.
of all the turmoil.
In the midst of it. So these conversations, I will probably not just be all over the place, but
No problem.
I'll have quite of a vibe of several different questions. Of course, we have to touch on the Barcades because you're,
Sure. Okay.
oh my
Yeah.
goodness, you spent a great deal of your career there, but I definitely want to talk about the journey of you transitioning into being a solo artist after retiring after, what was it, 50 years or
Oh
47,
yeah.
48 years, something like that. It
47,
was,
40,
wow,
yeah. 47,
47.
48 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. So
Long
yeah,
time ago.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. But that's a beautiful, that had to been a very interesting time. Some highs and some lows. I can only imagine, right? So
More
I
highs
like
than
to,
lows.
it's more highs than lows. There you go. I like to, I live in my imagine, but I also put it into reality. So I say that because I want to set the scene for our conversation.
Okay.
If you could just
Okay.
imagine for me. So I was thinking we could be on the white country porch, right? I get to meet your beautiful wife. She comes out and she gives me a drink, and we all, we introduce ourselves and we talk. And then she goes in, and then I start the interview. That's what I was imagining, right? So that's where we are.
Okay.
We're on the front porch, and I am trying the guidance whiskey. I got a little bit, just a little bit in my glass.
Okay. Okay. All right. I got you. I got you.
Just a little bit in my glass of the
Just a little
guidance
bit. That's
whiskey.
right.
Just a little bit, okay? So
It's
that's
still
setting the
early.
stage.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
right, exactly. But we have to live in the moment. Every time we look at our watch, the time is now, right? So I feel like if you
Right.
want to have whatever that is at that moment, you should get it and never deny yourself that if that's what you want, because life is short. I know, I
Much.
forgot to press the button. Life is short. So let's talk about if you could give me just a little bit of history of the Barkays. Maybe some people in here, or my son was like, "Who is Larry Dodson?" I was like, "You'll find out about it later."
All right. I always tell them whenever they say that, I said, just Google me, and
There you go.
they
Right.
find out.
They definitely
But
do.
whenever you get ready, we can start. Okay.
Okay, let's go. So we're on the porch. I'm asking the question of how did you become the lead singer for the group, the Barkays? How did that come about?
So let me just give you a little bit of the history of the group, the Barkays. So
Yes.
the Barkays were a group, an instrumental band that formed in high school that was just so very fortunate to have their very first record to be an instrumental million seller called Soul Finger, an iconic song that still reigns today. But they were an instrumental group. At that time, I had formed a doo-wop group called the Temprees in high school.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, we were just trying to be like the Temptations, man. We were just emulating the Temptations, every move, every
You
step.
have to move too?
So, oh yeah, the dress, everything, and we became quite popular in high school. But we were at a local club playing, and James Alexander, who was the leader of the band at that time, he, unbeknownst to me, I didn't have any idea that the Barkays were trying to find a lead singer. He asked me, would I be interested in taking on that position? And it scared me to death. I mean, it just really rocked my world because for two reasons. I didn't have any idea that they would ever think about having a singer after being such a successful instrumental group. Then the other part of it was like, could I really handle that? But fast forwarding, I said yes, and we immediately went to the studio. That was 30 albums ago.
30 albums ago.
That was
I
30 albums ago.
Let me tell you, my grandmother raised me. That's my background. I'm
Mhm.
originally from Cleveland, Ohio. And my grandmother
Okay.
raised me, and my dad, he was older. He was born in 1912. So for me, I feel like
Hmm.
I definitely have an old soul at heart. I'm not calling you old, but I'm saying an old soul as far as like the music. What I feel that I miss in a lot of the music, and it's not all musicians, but it just feels like the lost art of the instruments. We have now these pre-programmings, we have the voices and all of these things, and there's something beautiful about when you can hear the live instruments, because it brings a synchronicity to the rhythm and the melodies, and it helps us when we hear that drum, when we hear the bass player, when we hear the amazing singer. We need all of that vibration. That's what everything about our lives is, on a beat, on a rhythm. Our pulse, our heartbeat, everything that you feel is on a certain rhythm. And when we're leaving out the instruments, I feel like it has taken away that vibration that we need for life. So
Well,
I love that.
that's a very interesting point. And luckily for me, I come from an era where being at Stax Records, you being in the midst of Sam and Dave, Wilson Pickett, Johnny Taylor, Isaac Hayes, Rufus and Carla Thomas. I mean, just all of these iconic R&B performers. That was the school I came up in. And there was an authenticity about the way we made music. It was everybody was on the floor playing at one time. In fact, if you made a mistake, even if you got down to the last note, you had to start all over again because
Ooh.
it had to be done live. But you know what? We used to call it the magic. There was so much magic that was made
Mm,
on the floor. Everybody there together, making that music, the horns, the guitar players, the keyboard players, the singers, the background singers, all there at one time. And it was not only a part of the stack sound, but it was a part of the magic of music,
yes, we
captivating
need that.
everything at that moment. Just as it felt in your soul, that's how you transmitted it to that recording.
Exactly. And that's what comes across. And that's how we can feel good. We
That's
can just,
right.
we can
That's
just
the
dance
feel
and we
good
can
part of
feel
it.
it. That's the feel good part of it. Yeah. I definitely miss it. I loved me some Johnny Taylor. The last $2. I definitely did. I listened to all of that. My dad owned, I guess what
I
you
hear
would
you, old
call,
school.
yeah, two juke joints, and it was the jukebox in there, and people would play the music and they would be dancing. You can literally see when they put the money in there, the record player go down and the next one come up. And I was a little one, amongst
Yep,
all
yep,
of these
yep.
adults drinking and dancing. So I miss it so much. And I was just so grateful and so excited to talk to you because I'm like, oh, he was there. He was
Absolutely. And you know what?
there.
So these are the songs that the videos go off in your head when you hear them. You remember what you were doing. It reminds you of your first love,
Yeah.
first time doing any and everything, you know.
Anything. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yep,
I
yep,
bet
yep. But
it
the
does.
videos go off in
Yeah.
your head. Yeah, man.
Oh
Yeah. Good
man, that's
stuff.
gotta be great. So how was that experience? Just being out on stage, what did that feel like for you?
That, the stage, I always tell my son, the stage is my paradise, and I actually found out how much of my paradise it was when I tried to be stupid and try to retire a few years ago. How much I really missed it, but it's the stage and the stage and all that it involves, the hard work, all of that is just a part of my DNA. I'll never give it up again. I'll never say never, but it's
Right.
gonna have to be something really, really something that's gonna really make me stop again.
That's your life. That's your life purpose. When we tap into our life purpose, it doesn't feel like work. It almost feels like it energizes you and you want to just do more of it and you can't get enough of it. So that's beautiful that you found that. How about this is what I really wanted to ask you too.
Sure.
Married 50 years?
Absolutely right. Some of us get it
Wait,
right the
not
first
even
time.
just married 50 years, but married 50 years to the same
Hmm.
woman. Married 50 years to the same woman. That's how you get to still look so young, right?
Oh well, she's the glue. I always say she's the glue. I joined the Burkes in April of 1970, and I got married in August of that same year. So my wife has been with me through every nick and boop of my career. She's been there from the very beginning to the point she never understood what I was doing. Or I could play my records, and she said, "Well, now, what is it that you do?" So it was
But
nothing.
she
It was
was there
nothing.
to support you. She was
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But that was
Yeah,
that. I say that because it wasn't about the music. We virtually had nothing. I wasn't making any money. All we had was each other, and through the peaks and the
that's
valleys.
amazing.
We've been together, and I love her more than ever. We love has different stages, and I tell that to people who have been married for short periods of time. I say, if you stay married to that lady or to that guy, you're gonna find that love does escalate. It becomes something that's like a flower that blooms, and you have to stay there to see it
Mm,
bloom.
through all of it, through through the
Through
ups and
all
the
of it, through
downs, through
all
the
of it,
ups and downs. I
through the
always
ups
talk
and the
about
downs.
I worked as an EMT for 15 years, right? And I always talk about the electrocardiogram, where they trace the heart activity. And when you see the lines,
Hmm.
it's these squiggly lines, right? And they go up and down, and some go like this. And it tells if something is off and something isn't right. I want those lines to go up and down because if they're not, if it's a straight line, then my journey here in the physical sense is over, and I'm not ready for it to be over. So I always tell people in life, there's going to be those ups and downs. That's just life, and we have to go through them, right? And how we, you seem to have a very positive mindset. Like you said, there was more highs than lows. That's a positive mindset, because that's what determines our outcome as we continue to transition through life in different ups and downs and valleys and obstacles, of what we may call them to be obstacles and setbacks.
And you know what
right?
else that helps the relationship? The hellos and goodbyes. Being an entertainer worked for me not because I wanted to be away, but my housekeeper used to say, don't worry about it. The hellos and goodbyes are some of the most passionate moments of your life. When you leave someone you love, you can't wait to get back. And when you get back, it's all of the emotions of being gone for so long. So those hellos and goodbyes, they give you the space
They're
and the air
necessary.
to miss each other and love each other more. So it's all those things you find out, but you got to hang in there, though.
Wow.
Hang in there.
So you're an author now too. Let me talk about this book here. I don't know if Instagram may cut off some of it, but it's
Right.
And the Band Plays On. They will
And
have
the
to
band
find
plays
it. They
on.
got to go find it. Yes, And the Band Plays On. Tell me about what inspired you to write this book.
My son. I have to give him all the credit. I had no intention of being an author. Never crossed my mind. But he and I would sit in the mornings and we would talk about. He handles my day-to-day business, so we would talk about things I got to do for the week or the month. And I would share stories of, old road stories about when we were on the road and things that we did, and even the things we shouldn't have done. But he would always say, "Pop, you need to write a book." And I really didn't think about it. Then I started keeping some notes. We found a really good editor, and as it turned out, it took me a little longer than I thought because I was traveling. But I found it to be very therapeutic, and I say this all the time when I'm talking about my book. There are things in the book that I really never shared with anybody. I was very
Wow.
candid. I probably told too much, but I wanted the reader to really understand this is my story. Pre-bar case, post-bar case, because I did it in real time, even up to the time that I retired. It's a very interesting book. It's a good read, but it is a backstage pass. You feel like when you read the book, you feel like you've been in the band. Because I take you every point, every hot spot, low point. And as I said, there are many more highs than lows in the band. But I told it all of them. Not about anybody else, just me.
Yeah, because this says, and the band plays on the life story of Larry Dodson. So to me, that would definitely say, this is my experience and this is my story. And I'm sharing a part of my journey of money, addiction, and relationships.
Absolutely, all of it, man, all of it. But you know
There
what?
you are.
The first four letters of testimony is test. You got to get through those tests. That make you stronger, and then when you talk about it, it becomes ministry to people who say, "Well, he got through it. I can get through it." And that was something that my editor Sheila Bell said to me. She said, "Go ahead and tell your story. Get all down. Make yourself go ouch. Make yourself say ouch." What he said. And the more
That's a
ouches you get.
beautiful thing.
Yep, yep, yep.
It's a
So I
beautiful
said ouch a
thing.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good solid read. And I just admonish everybody to go to wherever you get the good books, and you can go to my website, www.thelarrydodson.com, get the book, and go to all the places the good books are sold. We can't keep them, man. We
Wow,
just
that's
can't keep them.
awesome. Yeah, I got to get
Yeah,
a copy. I definitely have to get a
absolutely.
copy.
You
During
won't
your
be able to put
life,
it down.
I'm ready. I read at least a book a week, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading your book for
Mm.
sure. I love to read. During your life journey, would you describe yourself as being a hunter or a gatherer,
I'm a
or a
gatherer.
little bit of both? You're a gatherer.
I'm not. I'm a gatherer. I'm a team player. And I've never really enjoyed anything that I had to do by myself. I'm just, I totally believe that God's gift to you is life, and what you do with your life is your gift to God. And I'm a sharing person, and I tell you this quick story, when we were writing the songs all through the career, even though the writers were just basically myself, Winston Stewart, and Harvey Henderson, my manager told me years and years ago, he said, please put everybody's name on the record. He said, because I don't ever want y'all to fall out about money and about that. And we did, to the point Billboard used to say, look, will you please tell us the real writers of these songs? Because we know all of y'all ain't writing all these records and all these songs, And we just said, just put the names on there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry
Oh,
about that.
wow. That's team.
Yeah. I'm a team player, and it has really helped me um, on my journey, and then also with my marriage, my wife and I are a team, and as well with my son. We are family business. We've had a booking agency since 1999, and this is 21 years. It's a family business. Our new label, Music Moves Records, is a family-owned
Oh,
business. So
wow.
we're team players.
Yes, and thanks to him, I want to say thank you to him for setting this up, and Catherine Walker too as well. Thank you so much. He was like, "We're ready, we're excited." I'm like, "Okay, let's do this, let's go." Um,
Yeah.
I was looking at some of your past interviews. A lot of times I don't like to do that because I like to just listen
Hmm.
to the music of the artist and then just have a conversation from there. But because your
Hmm.
history was it's just so bright, I had to go back and do some homework and do some due diligence. And I learned a lot about the 70s that I didn't know. I think it's just absolutely amazing. I also, when I look at your history, I also see a lot of self love for yourself. Like when I listen to the interviews, when you express about your family, when you talk about your music,
Hmm.
it feels like it comes from a place of love. So I want to ask you this question.
Hmm.
If we had to paint a color, I'm gonna pick a color. If we had to
Hmm.
paint a color for a blind man, let's see, how would you describe the color yellow? How
And
would you
this is,
describe it to him?
I would describe the color yellow to a blind man as a warm, a warm color that is soft, uh, absorbing, and it makes you feel good. Yeah.
Observing
How
and
about that?
makes you feel good. I like that too.
That's an
I'm
interesting question.
noticing, yeah, because you can find out a lot about a person by how they describe things. I'm noticing a
Okay.
lot. Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of people posting black hearts, and I have yet to really understand that because I'm getting more and more into this digital world. Uh, for
Hmm.
me, hearts always feel red. I don't know, maybe because I was programmed that way. So when I think about hearts, I think about warmth, I think about unconditional, I think about loyalty, I think about so many beautiful things that come with the color red. And now when I see the black hearts, I always associate black, growing up with something that didn't,
Dark.
yeah, feel dark. Exactly. So that's why I
Well, you
wanted
know
to
what?
make it, colorful.
That may be a sign of the times. We're in some challenging times now, and these are times that really challenge us mentally, and I don't like to get political, but I think our President Trump, he tapped into the darkness of a lot of people,
Yes.
and that's a place that I don't really like to go to. I don't like to visit because that's just not my personality. But I don't blame people for some of the decisions they make. But I do say, especially the younger people, you have to be careful with the
Mm,
intake, because a lot of the intake comes out of you in other ways, sometimes ways you don't even know. Just stuff you subliminally just get, and it can get you dark. If things aren't going well, you're in a pandemic. You're mad at the president. You ain't got no money. Yada yada yada. It can get you
mm-hmm.
to a dark, funky place. Thank God for God. That's where your faith comes in. Faith before fear. always.
Faith before fear. Yes. And that's exactly why these conversations are so important. I remember early in the morning, me and my grandmother, we would have, I really brought her here with me, a cup of coffee. We would have a cup of coffee and we would just talk. And because of that knowledge and those words and wisdoms that she shared with me early in that morning, I feel like I've taken that and I'm able to thrive during this time rather than just surviving, you know. I remember also too, we used to wake up early in the morning and she would have the news on. That's something that I don't do. I don't start my
Really?
day listening. No, I don't start my day with the news. No, I I start my day with something like a jazz, quiet
Right. Yeah,
meditation,
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, yeah,
pastor. You know, I love to listen to Bishop Jakes a lot, and
yeah.
positive motivation in the morning. So that is
Positive
important.
motivation.
Yeah, that's very important of how we're starting our day. So no, the news, because now I feel fear, now I feel frightened, now I feel sad, all these emotions that's going on because I'm watching the news. And then it just literally set the tone for the rest of my day. I hear some people say, oh my goodness, it's going to be a terrible day. And it's like, what were you listening to? What were you watching? What were you thinking when you first woke up? Because it's such a
And then why did
blessing
you
to wake
speak that? Why
up.
did you speak that? Yeah, you know, you got to be careful. The power of life and death is
Oh,
right there in that
and the
tongue, man.
tongue,
Right
yep,
there.
right there. So
Yeah.
I think about all of that. I'm grateful because my grandmother gave me so many amazing things, but there's also some things that I had to take and say, nope, I can't start my day with this, grandma. I got to start my day doing this. So yeah, we got to be
It's
much
about
more
that. It's about that
grateful.
intake. We start that intake. You got to be careful with what goes in and when it goes in. I find that my mornings are the most peaceful times for me. It's my prayer time. It's the time I can think clearly. You know, before everybody gets up and the day starts. Because I'm a business person. But there are those times early in the morning. It's quiet and for some particular reason with me, I'm just clear minded and I see things and I see and feel things differently. I'm much more clear headed and things that can make me ponder about for weeks. One morning I can wake up and say, "That's it." You know, just in that quiet moment. You know.
That's
But you're right there.
it.
You can start your morning with CNN, and I'm a CNN, but if you start your morning with CNN, you can have a dark day, man.
You
It could
can
really
really have a
discourage
dark
you.
day. At some point, I'm checking out the news, but it's just not the first thing that I'm checking out as I start my day because I want my day to
Right.
be. It can come. So many things can come during the day, and you want to be able to handle it the best of your ability. And I feel like someone can cut you off, and you just be like, God bless them. You know what I mean? I hope that they get there safe. But if you started your day with all of this junk, you'll be ready to like
You'll be
run.
junky. You'll be junky. That's what you'll be.
And you'll be responding with that same energy that they're giving you just because of the way that you started your day. So yeah, CNN is definitely constant news because that's what actually people go out and look for. They want the numbers. So that's what's going to bring in the numbers. People don't want to hear about the guy that saved the dog down the street or someone who fed the homeless. Or they don't want to hear about
Right.
that. You know, I'm amazed that I can get these many people to come on for an hour to listen to these conversations because I don't talk about a lot of controversy. I don't talk about things in the
Hmm.
news on artists that's not really relevant. That's not going to uplift our people. Me talking about who this person did whatever with is not going to uplift our people. I want to talk about things that maybe we could be probably possibly going through, and this is how we can get through it, or this is how, you know, letting them know that it's more than just the stage and the lights and the camera. I do understand that there's everyday life and there's everyday things that we go through. So, you know, through the conversations, hopefully the
Absolutely. And you know
collaborations,
what?
we spark a word, you know, spark a light.
Through through my 47, 48 years with the
Yes.
Barcades, uh, 20 top 10 singles, just a lot of music. One thing that I really like about being a singer songwriter, you get to be a part of a lot of people that you don't even really know. You get to affect people in good ways. I mean, music is such a great platform to change things,
The
to change
world.
minds, to just right, absolutely. And then being in the business as long as I have, people follow you through your music. They see you evolve from one thing to another through your music. They see it getting to be, your songs are getting to be different. And that's one thing I really, really, I'm in a good place now because I've done a lot of work with the Barcades from writing, producing, and just being the only guy to sing. But now I'm on my own journey now. And I thought about it. I took 7, 8 months to find somebody to take my place in the band. And then I thought I could retire, and that didn't work. But coming back now to a record label that I share with my son, and to have such a great record to come back with, to start my new career. And now I can show another side of myself as a writer, as a singer, because I'm really romantic at heart. So, and that's something that I didn't really have a lot of time to do in the Barcades. Because we were funky band, party band, we made some
Fun
great
band,
records.
yeah,
Great, yeah.
absolutely.
But now I can make my own. I can draw my own stuff now. And I can paint outside the lines if I want to.
So,
It
so
won't
is
bother
that
me.
where I'm Good came from?
Absolutely. If you really want to know
Oh,
the truth, I'm good as
I
I could
listened to
dedicate
it.
this to my wife and just be through with it. I could tell you, it's all about no matter what happens in this world, if the world quit tomorrow on me, and no matter as long as I got you, I'm good. It's going to be a theme song for 2021. It's going to keep a lot of guys out of trouble because they can
Yes, because
dedicate
a
that to
lot
the
of people are breaking.
right.
A lot of people are like breaking up and divorcing during this time. I don't know what happened. They woke up next to the person and they was like, ah,
You still
because
here?
you still here. Yeah, exactly. Because they had the bars to escape to and the clubs, and now that all of those things are not the way that they were or shut down or however that may go, now we're actually, what I think that we're dealing with? We're dealing with our choices that we made.
Absolutely.
That's what we're dealing with when we come down those stairs or when we go in that kitchen or that living room. We're looking at our choices that we made, and we're
And everywhere
deciding
you go, look, everywhere you go, there you are. You know what
there.
I'm saying? You can't get away from it. That's a very good point.
You can,
Wherever you go, there you are. No matter how you try to run it out, and we are living the right results of our choices, good and bad.
mhm.
And as God has put things in place to happen, allow things to happen, uh, we are spending a lot of time with ourselves and a lot of time evaluating our choices,
Yes.
and and a lot of time to reevaluate and kind of get some and understand you got time to correct it. You got time to reevaluate things, and that's all part of life. But normally you wouldn't have this much time because you wouldn't take that time.
Nope,
You
you
wouldn't
wouldn't
take that
take it.
time. Now you gotta take it. You gotta sit at that table and talk to your kids. She almost have forgot their last name or their middle name because you ain't sit down with them. You sit down with your wife and your husband. Y'all ain't talked that much in 20 years.
Long
You know what I'm
time.
saying?
Yep, yep,
But
yep.
there's some good things that happen at that dinner table, man. You get to fall in love again, man. You
If
know what I'm
that's what you
saying?
if that's what you're looking for, you'll be able to find it. Seek and he shall find. But a lot of them
There
aren't
you
looking
go.
for that. Yeah, that's true. I've talked to some people, I've had conversations with people who hadn't been home in like 9 years. They've been out on the road and
Right.
flying everywhere. So it's amazing. I went to the store and there was no bikes left.
Right.
Wow. When we
No,
went back
no
to
computers.
no computers. Like we were going back to actually going outside and spending time with nature and our family. So I think, for the most part, my perception of this time has been amazing because it actually really helped me to sit back and pay attention to some of the things that I wasn't really paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
I got to do a lot more self-reflection. I got to rest. I feel like my
Mm-hmm.
skin is
Mm-hmm.
glowing a little more now that I'm
See
at
there? You're
home.
taking care of yourself more. You're thinking more about your weight. You'll go to the gym maybe a little bit more often. You'll watch your diet a little bit more, or you won't.
Or you
Because
won't.
a lot of people
They eat
eating.
more.
That's some things they're eating and drinking a lot more.
That's
But again,
true.
it's the choices.
That is
You
so true.
know.
Since you've been a solo artist, were you able to perform before the COVID?
Yeah,
And how was
absolutely
that
right.
performing solo? What was that experience like?
Oh man, different. Yeah, I've been in a band all my life, So yeah, I tell you, the first concert that we did as a solo artist was the Tom Joyner Cruise. It was with Janet Jackson, Charlie Wilson, Maxwell. So it was a really, really big ticket.
Mm.
And and there was those moments when I looked around to the left and to the right and said, James ain't there, I'm out here all by myself now, And in my dear friend Charlie Wilson, he told me, he said, you're gonna have that moment, because he left Gap Band and decided to pursue his solo career. He
And
performed his first concert
amazing.
in Memphis. He told me the exact thing, and it's different, but I'm gonna tell you, it's something that I am loving because I will get a chance to do exactly what I want to do.
Yes, and it
I could
always
call,
feels good to do that. You call the shots.
I call shot, and you know what? See, and being the lead singer, I wasn't the arrogant, singing this unapproachable. I was never the guy. I took care of everybody. I mean, I did the outfits, the band rehearsals. Not saying nobody else did anything, but it's something I like to do. So I was always there for everybody, but now I can kind of take that time and put it on myself and have a great time with this music, and let people see this other side, and then own the label, with my son. We can call our own shots as label owners. We can have an
And now
open
you're
door for
building.
other artists. Yeah,
Oh,
right.
you're
I
building
call this the fourth quarter.
opportunities. Oh, that's awesome.
Sure.
Yes, it is. It is. It
Yeah, we've
definitely is.
always been we've always been in a give back mode. We have a scholarship fund that assists HBCUs, particularly in Memphis, Tennessee. It's Lamar and Owen College. For the last 10, 11 years, we've been sending between 1 and 5 kids to college every year. We've
Oh,
been doing
now
that for the last 10 or 11 years.
that's
So,
amazing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We've always been doing that, and I recently received an honorary doctorate from Lemoyne Owen College on the same day that my wife of 50 years graduated from college as well. It happened on the same day. She was able
Wow,
to come that morning and
really?
see me, and I left there and went to her graduation on that same day.
Oh, what an
God is
amazing
good.
day. Yeah, God is amazing. Like,
That's the
congratulations to the both of you. That's amazing. You
isn't
also
this something?
back to the group as well. I mean, you were
Hmm.
indicted into the Memphis Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as well, right?
Exactly right. Which was a big honor for me. We were inducted to the R&B Hall of Fame. We have a note on Bill Street, a star on Bill Street. Some of our stage clothes are in the Smithsonian Institute. So we have a lot of accolades, and they renamed the street after me this past year, So I mean, it's those kind of things that makes life really good while you're
While you're
alive and
here,
well.
you can see it.
While you're here,
Yeah.
right, right. 'Cause most of those things happen when you're gone, man.
Yeah, they're cutting a ribbon and they're like, and they're to
In
you
memory of,
and memory of, but you get to
no, I was
actually
right
see
there.
it.
I was right there. I was right there. Yeah,
That is so, no, that is
yeah.
amazing. That's absolutely a blessing. How did you come up? When did Christmas with You come out? Was that this
It was
year?
released on Thanksgiving Day. It
Oh,
was
it
released
just
on
came.
Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, wow, I'm
Hmm.
so grateful that I got to share that on my
See there,
the
see there, see what,
promos.
see. Yep, there you go, there you go. It was something
Yes.
that I wanted to do. I've been wanting to write a Christmas record and do a Christmas record, and it's for the last 10 years, and just it always escaped me. It got too close. I was on the road too much. But this year, I just said, my son, I said, he pushed me, said, please, let's do it this year. So we did. And as I said, I wanted to write a wholesome, kind of back in the day, nostalgic,
It
kind of
feels
a,
that way.
yep, yep, yep. But we're talking about those things that make Christmas Christmas, you know.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
feels like
all those
it
things.
feels like a man who's really, really in love with a special queen. That's what it feels like. And we are now coming into the holiday and I'm with
Mm,
you and it's just going to be absolutely grand and amazing as long as I'm with you. Like it's Christmas, because you're here
absolutely
right
right.
along with me, right? So I said,
Christmas
oh,
with you. Yeah, yeah.
I promise you that this Christmas will be a lot different for me. God willing, I'm here, I'm alive and well, right? I am definitely going to make Christmas different just by listening to that song today. I really
Well,
like
thank
sat and
you.
toned in into it because I'm telling you, I've been like not like a grouch, but just working and doing stuff on
Yeah.
Christmas and not really going into the spirit of keeping those that have passed on before me spirit alive, that I am still here. You know, I do have the ability to still be here, so I should be celebrating that. And yeah, thank you for
And
making that
understanding
song.
how and understanding just how blessed you are to be still alive and well. You look great.
Thank you. You
You look
too.
real happy, and that's really, really important. We've lost so many people, man. This COVID has really, really gotten way out of hand, and it's affecting us as Black people, 3 to 1, man. So we got to really, really be careful. Really be careful, and thank God that we have some remedies coming. It seems as though I know it's going to take a minute for us to get confidence to really let folks put that stuff in our arms, but eventually it'll happen. I think the
Eventually it
confidence will
will.
come. It will, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing because it's another year. This would I don't even want to imagine that.
I didn't even think it was going to go this long, to be honest with you. I don't know if I was thinking even about a vaccine. I was just not thinking that it would just go this long.
I never
I am
expected a
believing. I know
vaccine.
we had one of the, I don't know if he's still on here, Dr. Rahi Fernandez. He is a COVID
Mm-hmm.
doctor, and I'm going to bring him on hopefully soon. He's
Mm-hmm.
had a crazy schedule because of the numbers and everything that's going up. But I want to talk more about it because I do have questions, and I'm not sure about any of it because it's like, you know, with social media, with media, they have put so much fear into it that they're not even giving us what is it and why am I wearing this mask and what is the importance of that? You know what I mean? And how do people, what do they feel when they go and decide to go get tested? I want to know that. There, I have like so many questions. So I think that would be important to bring on an expert, you know, a
Absolutely,
physician to talk about that, right? But yeah,
a
and
good
the
qualified
emotions.
person.
What about yes, a good qualified person. What about mental health? Are we even talking about how people are dealing with that? And what about the children are in abusive homes? And what about the women that are in abusive homes? Men too, like all of that. Now we're stuck with that person.
The addiction and a lot of stuff has spun off from just having a lot of time on your hands.
So with that time
We're
on
gonna
the
get through
hands, they should pick up this book while they're at home, while we're in the
it.
quarantine, and the band plays on the life
And the
story of
band
Larry
plays
Dyson, right?
on. Absolutely.
You could get it on Amazon. I seen it on Amazon, but you can get it a lot of places. But you know, Amazon is one of those popular
Absolutely.
places. So I said they should definitely pick that up. I have to also say hello to my sponsor. I have to take a moment to say hello to my sponsor. I'm going to send this to your
Okay.
son because I know your son does all your business. So that way I'll explain it to him what it
Definitely.
actually, how it actually
Absolutely.
works. But I'm just going to introduce it to you here right now. It is a
Hmm.
digital business card, and this is a gift to you for coming on and having a conversation with me here on Choose Your Path. Shout out to 10K Cards. So it's your own QR code. And we are now in this digital world. So what will happen is when they scan that code, automatically all of your information will come to their phone, right? So your
Hmm.
Instagram page or Twitter, they can purchase your book from here. They can purchase your book is on the card. They can purchase your merchandise, everything all in one place on their phone. Yay! Yay!
I got you.
10K
I got
cards.
you.
So that's exactly what this is. And I'm going to send the link and everything over to your son later as
I appreciate that. I
once we get
appreciate
on.
that. Sounds interesting.
Yes, look, he's like he got the fireworks. Woo, woo, woo. Welcome to the future. I recently went home to Cleveland, Ohio, and
Okay.
unfortunately I had went for a funeral. And while I was at the
Mhm.
funeral, I came up with an idea and I started to write a book. And the title of the book is The Mirror That You Don't Want to See. And I got on the microphone
Mhm.
and I spoke about it. And I said, I'm sure someone here probably have dreams, you know, goals and aspirations and all of these things. And we feel like because this person might say something to me, or this person might say something about me if I do this. We don't never start it. And it's unfortunate because just like you say, when you were a part of the band for 47, 48 years, you changed so many lives through your gift of music and song and singing, that you changed worlds and people's lives. Can you imagine someone on here having a dream, right? And it can change the whole way we looking at the world and the universe right now, but they don't do it because they're afraid. Oh, it's for us. It's not even about you. It's for the benefit of the people, right? It's for the
Yeah,
benefit of the
yeah.
people. The gifts that God give us. I know we think about us all the time, and we talk about me, 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 me. But if you take that off of you just for a moment, and you think about what you can give to others, then the load doesn't feel so heavy. And that's what I hope, that when they listen to this conversation and they look at, I'm literally right now talking to a living legend, Larry Dotson,
Thank you.
aka Larry D.
Larry D. There you
Larry
go.
D. There you go. Right? Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Tell me about the whiskey.
It's called Guidance Whiskey.
Yes.
I was approached 2 years ago
Uh-huh.
by my son who introduced me to the owners of the whiskey and who was actually an alumni with my son, and he thought it was a good idea. And I had never been involved in a whiskey before. They were looking for a spokesperson, somebody with a recognizable face and a recognizable history, and just a good solid guy to be representing the liquor. And I tasted it. And to be honest, I'm not a really whiskey drinker, I'm a
Uh-huh.
champagne guy, but it was such a different tasting, smooth, first class
Nice.
whiskey. I came aboard and it had a great name. I like the name Guidance.
I like that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the guy was a nice guy. Being black owned was a calling card for me as well. So it's been a very interesting ride. I've been the spokesman. They call me the captain and the minority owner. So it's been another hat for me to wear, in the fourth quarter here of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that name. Guidance Whiskey sounds like I'm on
Hmm.
my grown person thing, right? But I do it
Hmm.
responsibly. That's what it feels like, that title, Guidance
Absolutely,
Whiskey. Yeah.
absolutely right. It sounds like you got a little control of all of that. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right, exactly. So how have your experience, I don't know if I talked about like how have your experience has been as far as business wise during this pandemic?
Actually, you know what? Let me tell you. I shared with you early in our conversation that a lot of people look at this. It's a very, very, very life altering situation, and I don't play it cheap at all. I don't say it light. It's very, very, very difficult in this period to deal with this pandemic because it's life threatening. It takes so much of our energy and our life, and it's affecting
Yes.
us as African Americans. But
Mm,
by the same token, I and my family and my friends have gotten a lot done. I've done some really good music because of my choice
okay.
to have to experience faith before fear. I'm not afraid of this because I know we'll get through it. I am concerned with it. We continue to work on my second book. And by the way, for those of you who are interested in my whiskey, you can go to www.guidancewhiskey.com. We've accelerated and picked up new markets in our whiskey. So it hasn't been all gloom and doom. As I said, I'm very concerned with it. I'm glad that we have some remedies coming that I think people will get involved in taking. But business has been great.
That's
And I feel a lot of
beautiful.
my entrepreneur friends have said business has absolutely been great. They may have had to start another business you know, that was different from what they were doing. But
Yes.
they're using their minds, their brain, you know, they're thinking, you know, putting the thinking caps on and rolling those sleeves up, as I'm sure you have, you know.
Oh, yes. I think that it's been
Yeah.
an amazing time, and I want to bring that positive light to this platform to show, like, hey, we can create during this time. If your business failed, let's figure out now, let's create a new one. Because at the end of the day, no one has ever knocked on my door and said, Sherontelle, I'm coming to save you. Sherontelle, what is it that you need? I'm coming to save you. No one has ever, no one's gonna do that. I have to do that for myself, and you have to figure it out. I never want to be remiss and say, hey, people aren't dying and those sort of things. That is definitely true.
Mm.
And I'm praying for those families, and that I've lost loved ones as well during this time, but I also have to
Hmm.
continue to keep moving forward. That's one thing that my grandmother always taught me, is that you got to keep on moving. Because I used to be like, Grandma, all your friends, they all gone. Like, how are you doing this? And she's like, baby, I got to keep on living, you know? And so
Gotta
that's
keep
what
on living.
yes, I got to keep on living. And I have to also make sure that me, as being a leader, is that I'm also leading the people in the way that I would want to be led, and giving that light back and saying, let's create. What do you have, that dream that I've never thought about? I never even ever had to worry about money when I first started my business. I started my business
Hmm.
with just my
Okay.
idea. You know, sometimes it
Lucky
just takes
you.
that. You gotta know. But you gotta believe. You know what I mean? You really, really gotta believe. Sometimes those ideas, they birth everything it is that you need to change your entire life around. One idea changes not only your life, but so many others' lives. That is absolutely, absolutely phenomenal. You
You
have to
seem
do it.
like a person that has no problem in stepping out on faith. And that's what we
Oh,
have to do.
faith.
You know, we have to step out on faith.
I'm skydiving without the parachute. Like, I'm going to do it because yeah, I'm going out there because at the end, life is short. You got to live in the moments, and you have to know that I'm making the best of every single moment that I have, because you just never know. My daughter's father, she's a grown woman, a beautiful grown woman,
Hmm.
but her father was murdered at the age of 24 when she was 6 years old. So it's just, you
Wow.
just don't know. You know, we always think that we have time. And I'm here to say that you don't have time. The time is now. Every time that we look at our watch, our devices, when we're checking the time, it's always now. It's not tomorrow. It's not the next hour. It's not the next minute. Every time that you look at your watch, I don't wear a watch. I wear these amazing bracelets here,
Hmm.
but it's always now. The time is absolutely now. So let's start to really learn to live in the moment. Is there anything else that you have that's coming up that we should be on the lookout? You got another second book that you're working on. Wow, that's amazing. You have your own label now, so it's pretty much like you have all this open creativity to create all these lovely love songs that we so need, that this generation
Absolutely. You
has
know,
lost.
I would tell you that this is a project that I'm behind on. My daughter, who is now 49 years old, her name is Precious. She was born Down syndrome. She
Oh,
was our first kid, and I share this in my book. You know,
uh-huh.
uh, and you know, as I write about in the book, you know, my wife and I have been married a long time, but she was our first kid, and we didn't really know that much. We didn't know anything about Down syndrome. We didn't know anything, and it was the doctors gave us such a dismal outlook. They said, "Well, don't really get attached to her because she's probably not going to live through her teens," you know, because Down
Oh,
syndrome, as they knew about the information they had at that time. So, and I say she's 49. She just celebrated her 49th birthday. So I always say, but God, doctors didn't really know. She's a total success story. But I'm leading up to the fact that uh, we've been writing on a book, and we're way behind on it. It's called Keep Looking Up When It's Downs. It's all about our journey, my wife
keep looking
Marie
up
and
when it's
I.
down. Wow, I get
Yeah,
it.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, right? You get it? You feel it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the journey that we have had raising a Down syndrome child, a mentally challenged kid, who has a success story. So it's going to be so therapeutic to all of the readers because there are a lot of people, not with mentally challenged kids, physically disabled kids who don't know what to do. It's sometimes the
So
first kid, the
many.
second kid, they don't know.
Hmm.
But when they hear about a success story of somebody who the odds were against them and how patient that they have to learn to be. Because I was 19 years old when Precious was born, so not knowing anything about this. But one thing you do learn is sometimes in life you have to get out of the spotlight and let all of the sunlight on that person or that thing that you love. No matter how much it takes
Wow.
out of you, you have to be able to get out of there and don't give up. You
Don't
just move over
don't
and
give
let
up.
God be God. Don't give up. It's just not your time to be in the spotlight. You'll have your time later in life. So we have to learn to do that as parents. Our whole life changed at that point. Now understand this was our first kid, so we have had a very different life because of understanding what Down syndrome was, understanding that we had to get the best care we could get, but the biggest thing we learned was that there's so much there that doesn't get tapped into because we people give up. They put them in the back room. They don't want people to know they're there. They don't want people to know they exist. So this book's gonna be therapeutic. Keep looking up
Oh,
when this
I'm gonna,
happens.
yeah, I'm gonna be looking for that book. I really quick because I know we're at the end, but I had dated someone years ago, and he had a sister with Down syndrome, and I
Hmm.
used to love having her come over. At first, like the mom was like, "You sure?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." And what I realized is that it's just love and not treating them any differently than you would treat anyone else. And the beautiful thing is that they have this beautiful imagination. They still have it because as adults, they lose their imagination. We talked about that on a radio show that I do on Sundays. The lost art of imagination, they lose it. But not with them. They're special. And how
They're
amazing that
very, very special.
God gave you and your wife your amazing daughter, your amazing special daughter. And yes, I absolutely love spending time with her. I told them to bring her over all the time. We would color, we would talk, we would have like girl talk and act like we were on the phone and doing all kinds of stuff. And we would go outside. And she was just an amazing, beautiful young woman. And I just seen how she would glow more the more and more we spent time together. So it's
Yeah,
about
yeah,
love and patience. And if God can have love and patience with us, with the decisions and stuff that we be doing during life, surely we can do that with the seed that God has given us to water and to grow. That's beautiful.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to
yeah.
it. So everyone should definitely go and get the song I'm Good. If they don't have it, they should be downloading that now. They should also download Christmas with You because it has that right now R&B, love, holiday, all kinds of great good feel to it. They should definitely go and get this book. And the band plays on the life story of Larry Dodson because I was not going to spend a whole entire hour talking. I mean,
It's been
you are
delightful.
absolute. Yeah, I wanted to talk about a little bit about the band, but I wanted to talk more about that journey, transitioning over into a solo artist and being an amazing man to marry one woman for 50 years. That let me know the love is possible because I always talk about love on here. So thank you so much.
You
I
know
have
what? And
one
let me tell you
question.
something.
Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead.
At the end, I will go because we're at the end.
Okay.
At the end of every show, I always ask if you could give us one word or a sentence that could motivate us as we move forward.
Here's a saying that has always stuck with me. It's
Yes.
hard to get tripped up if you stay on your knees.
It's hard to get tripped up
Get
if you
tripped
stay
up.
on your knees. And
You
what else
understand what I'm
was it that
saying?
you were about to say? Because I did not mean to cut you off. I
No,
wanted to make sure I get my
I was just going
sentence.
to comment. I've watched people tuning in from all over, just
Oh,
everywhere. You got
yeah.
a lot of people that tune in, and I was just wondering if some of the people that were tuning in were from a lot of different places. And I want to remind everybody they can be sure to follow me on Instagram,
Oh,
The
they are.
Real Larry Dotson. Yep, yep, yep. But it's been what we were just
I'm
trying to
definitely
figure out
going to.
from
I'm
what cities
definitely
they
going
from
to
what
post.
cities they were tuning in from. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, they coming probably from any and everywhere. 10K Cards, Glenmel, she's in New York City. I have some
Oh
regulars on here, so I
wow.
know where they're from. There's some people on here from Paris. We have some people on here from all over the world. It's amazing because I only started with 2 people, right? And now
Really?
I started with 2 people and I didn't care. I was like, I'm just going to get on and say, hey, you can choose your path. You can do it. And then it's just
Hawthorne,
really been,
California. I just
it's
saw
been
that.
growing.
Yeah.
California, yep. We got
Yeah.
Brooklyn, New York. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. That's
amazing. They're
great.
from
That's great.
everywhere. But no, I'm going to repost this and then I'm also going to put it
Okay.
onto my YouTube page. And then I am putting out, because I'm a publicist, I'm putting out a press release tomorrow. So I'll also put in your book and I'll put in the 2 songs that I absolutely love, I'm Good, and the Christmas song. I'll add that to my press release because I really appreciate you giving me your gift of time and your gift of
That's
knowledge
not a
and
problem.
sharing your wisdom and sharing a little bit about your personal story. Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And for you, whatever, whenever, just call me up anytime. I'm a cheap date, and we'll talk again. And
I definitely will.
You're a very interesting person, and you're delightful to talk to. And I appreciate you giving me a hour. We probably didn't mean to talk this long, but we did. And I hope
Oh
people
no,
enjoy.
I meant an hour. I was taking my
It's
whole
okay.
hour.
Oh, okay.
I was
Okay,
taking
it's
my
good.
yeah, I was taking my whole hour. So thank you. Love, light, and
Okay.
energy to you and your family. And I'm definitely looking forward to your upcoming projects. Thank you. Bye bye,
You be well
everybody.
and have a great holidays. Okay.
All right, bye
Happy
bye.
holidays. Bye bye.